Biafra, officially the Republic of Biafra, was a secessionist state in West Africa that existed from May 1967 to January 1970. Its territory consisted of the eastern region of Nigeria. Biafra was formed as a result of the nationalist aspirations of the Igbo people of Nigeria, leading to the Nigerian Civil War. Nigeria declared war on Biafra shortly after its declaration of independence, eventually defeating Biafra and reuniting the two states. Biafra was formally recognized by Gabon, Haiti, Ivory Coast, Tanzania, and Zambia. Other nations, which did not give official recognition but provided support and assistance to Biafra, included France, Spain, Portugal, Norway, Rhodesia, South Africa, and Vatican City. Biafra received aid from non-state actors, including Joint Church Aid, Holy Ghost Fathers of Ireland, and under their direction Caritas International and U.S. Catholic Relief Services. Médecins Sans Frontières also originated in response to the suffering. After 2.5 years of war, during which almost 2 million Biafran civilians died from starvation, caused by the total blockade of the region by the Nigerian government, Biafran forces under Nigeria's motto of no victor, no vanquished, surrendered to the Nigerian federal military government. The surrender was facilitated by the Biafran Vice President and Chief of General Staff, Major General Philippe Ifyong, who assumed leadership of the Republic of Biafra after the original president, Colonel Chukwuemeka Odumegwu Ojukwu, fled to the Ivory Coast. After the surrender of Biafra, some Igbos who had fled the conflict returned to their properties, but were unable to claim them back from new occupants. This became law in the Abandoned Properties Act, 28 September 1979. It was purported that at the start of the Civil War, Igbos withdrew their funds from Nigerian banks and converted them to the Biafran currency. After the war, bank accounts owned by Biafrans were seized, and the Nigerian panel resolved to give every Igbo person with an account only £20. Federal projects in Biafra were also greatly reduced compared to other parts of Nigeria. In an inter-society study, it was found that Nigerian security forces also extorted approximately $100 million per year from illegal roadblocks and other methods from Igboland, a cultural sub-region of Biafra in what is now southern Nigeria, causing greater mistrust of the Igbo citizenry towards the Nigerian security forces. In 1960, Nigeria became independent of the United Kingdom. As with many other new African states, the borders of the country did not reflect earlier ethnic, cultural, religious, or political boundaries. Thus, the northern region of the country, which has a Muslim majority, is primarily made up of the territory of the indigenous Sokoto Caliphate. The southern population is predominantly Christian, being primarily made up of territory of the indigenous Yoruba and Igbo states in the west and east respectively. Following independence, Nigeria was demarcated primarily along ethnic lines. Hausa and Fulani majority in the north, Yoruba majority in the west, and Igbo majority in the east. Ethnic tension had simmered in Nigeria during discussions of independence, but in the mid-20th century, ethnic and religious riots began to occur. In 1945 an ethnic riot flared up in Jos in which Hausa Fulani people targeted Igbo people and left many dead and wounded. Police and army units from Kaduna had to be brought in to restore order. The event is described in a newspaper article. 300 Igbo people died in the Jos riot. In 1953 a similar riot occurred in Kano later. A decade later in 1964 and during the Western political crisis divided the Western region as Ladika-Kintola clashed with Obafemi Awolowo. Widespread reports of fraud tarnished the election's legitimacy. Westerners especially resented the political domination of the Northern People's Congress, many of whose candidates ran unopposed in the election. Violence spread throughout the country, and some began to flee the north and west, some to Dahomey. The apparent domination of the political system by the North, and the chaos breaking out across the country, motivated elements within the military to consider decisive action. The federal government, dominated by northern Nigeria, allowed the crisis to unfold with the intention of declaring a state of emergency and placing the western region under martial law. This administration of the Nigerian federal government was widely perceived to be corrupt. In January 1966, the situation reached a breaking point. A military coup occurred during which a mixed but predominantly Igbo group of army officers assassinated 30 political leaders, including Nigeria's Prime Minister, Sir Abubakar Tafawa Balewa, and the Northern Premier, Sir Ahmadu Bello. The four most senior officers of Northern origin were also killed. Nnamdi Azikiwe, the president of Igbo extraction, and the favored Western region politician Obafemi Awolowo, were not killed. The commander of the army, General Aguiyi Ironside, seized power to maintain order. In July 1966, Northern officers and army units staged a counter-coup, killing General Aguiyi Ironside and several Southern officers. The predominantly Muslim officers named a general from a small ethnic group, the Angas, in central Nigeria, General Yakubu Gowon, as the head of the federal military government. The two coups deepened Nigeria's ethnic tensions. In September 1966, approximately 30,000 Igbo civilians were killed in the north, and some northerners were killed in backlashes in eastern cities. In January 1967, the military leaders Yakubu Gowon, Chukwuemeka Ojukwu, and senior police officials of each region met in Abuja, Ghana, and agreed on a less centralized union of regions. The northerners were at odds with this agreement, that was known as the Abuja Accords. Obafemi Awolowo, the leader of the western region, warned that, if the eastern region seceded, the western region would also, which persuaded the northerners. After returning to Nigeria, the federal government reneged on the agreement and unilaterally declared the creation of several new states, including some that gerrymandered the Igbos in Biafra. On 26 May the Ojukwu decreed to secede from Nigeria, after consultations with community leaders from across the eastern region. 4 days later, Ojukwu unilaterally declared the independence of the Republic of Biafra, citing the Igbos killed in the post-coup violence as reasons for the declaration of independence. It is believed this was one of the major factors that sparked the war. A large amount of oil in the region also created conflict, as oil was already becoming a major component of the Nigerian economy. Biafra was ill-equipped for war, with fewer army personnel and less equipment than the Nigerian military, but had advantages over the Nigerian state as they were fighting in their homeland and had the support of most Biafrans. The federal military government attacked Biafra on 6 July 1967. Nigeria's initial efforts were unsuccessful. The Biafrans successfully launched their own offensive and expansion efforts, occupying areas in the mid-western region in August 1967. By October 1967, the federal military government had regained the land after intense fighting. In September 1968, the federal army planned what Gowon described as the final offensive. Initially, the final offensive was neutralized by Biafran troops. In the latter stages, a southern federal military government offensive managed to break through the FIS resistance. The Republic of Biafra comprises over 29,848 square miles of land, with terrestrial borders shared with Nigeria to the north and west, and with Cameroon to the east. Its coast was on the Gulf of Guinea of the South Atlantic Ocean in the south. The country's northeast bordered the Benue Hills and mountains that lead to Cameroon. 3 major rivers flow from Biafra into the Gulf of Guinea: the Imo River, the Cross River, and the Niger River. The territory of the Republic of Biafra is covered nowadays by the reorganized Nigerian states of Ebonyi, Enugu, Anambra, Imo, Abia, Bayelsa, Rivers, Akwa Ibom, Cross River, while the Igbo people of the current Nigerian state of Delta were not included in Biafra. As per Ojukwu's decree founding Biafra, Igbo nationalists amongst the few Igbos in Delta did fight on the Biafran side. The languages of Biafra were Igbo, Anang, Efik, Ibibio, Ogoni, and Ijaw, among others. However, English was used as the national language. The Republic of Biafra was a unitary republic administered under emergency measures. It consisted of an executive branch in the form of Chukwuemeka Odumegwu Ojukwu and a judicial branch in the form of the Ministry of Justice. Its legal system was based on the English common law. An early institution created by the Biafran government was the Bank of Biafra, accomplished under Decree No. 3 of 1967. The bank carried out all central banking functions, including the administration of foreign exchange and the management of the public debt of the Republic. The bank was administered by a governor and 4 directors. The first governor, who signed banknotes, was Sylvester Ugo. A second decree, Decree Number 4 of 1967, modified the Banking Act of the Federal Republic of Nigeria for the Republic of Biafra. The bank was first located in Enugu, but due to the ongoing war, it was relocated several times. Biafra attempted to finance the war through foreign exchange. After Nigeria announced its currency would no longer be legal tender to make way for a new currency, this effort increased. After the announcement, tons of Nigerian banknotes were transported in an effort to acquire foreign exchange. The currency of Biafra had been the Nigerian pound until the Bank of Biafra started printing out its own notes, the Biafran pound. The new currency went public on 28 January 1968, and the Nigerian pound was not accepted as an exchange unit. The first issue of the bank notes included only 5 shillings notes and 1 pound notes. The Bank of Nigeria exchanged only £30 for an individual and £300 for enterprises in the second half of 1968. The movement for the actualization of the sovereign state of Biafra, MASOB, emerged in 1999 as a non-violent and Biafran nationalist group associated with Igbo nationalism. The group enacted a relaunch of Biafra in Alba, the commercial center of Abia State, and a major commercial center on Igbo land. MASOB says it is a peaceful group and advertises a 25-stage plan to achieve its goal peacefully. It has 2 arms of government, the Biafran government in exile and the Biafran shadow government. MASOB accuses Nigeria of marginalizing Biafran people. Since August 1999, protests have erupted in cities across Nigeria's southeast. Though peaceful, the protesters have been routinely attacked by the Nigerian police and army, with large numbers of people reportedly killed. Many others have been injured and/or arrested. In July 2006, the Center for World Indigenous Studies reported that government-sanctioned killings were taking place in the southeastern city of Onitsha because of a shoot-to-kill policy directed toward Biafrans, particularly members of the MASOB. The Nigerian federal government accuses MASOB of violence. MASOB's leader, Ralph Uwazuruk, was arrested in 2005 and was detained on treason charges. He has since been released and has been rearrested and released more than 5 times. In 2009, MASOB leader Chief Uwazuruk launched an unrecognized Biafran international passport and also launched a Biafran plate number in 2016 in response to persistent demand by some Biafran sympathizers in the diaspora and at home. On 16 June 2012, a Supreme Council of Elders of the Indigenous People of Biafra, another pro-Biafra organization, was formed. The body is made up of some prominent persons in the Biafra region. They sued the Federal Republic of Nigeria for the right to self-determination, Debola Megwu Ojukwu. The eldest son of ex-President/General Ojukwu and a Lagos state-based lawyer was the lead counsel that championed the case. MASOB leader Chief Ralph Uwazuruk established Radio Biafra in the United Kingdom in 2009, with Nnamdi Kanu as his radio director. Later, Kanu was said to have been dismissed from MASOB because of accusations of supporting violence. The Nigerian government, through its broadcasting regulators, the Broadcasting Organization of Nigerian and Nigerian Communications Commission, has sought to clamp down on Radio Biafra with limited success. On 17 November 2015, the Abia State Police Command seized an indigenous people of Biafra radio transmitter in Umuahia. On 23 December 2015, Kanu was detained and charged with charges that amounting to treason against the Nigerian state. He was released on bail on 24 April 2017 after spending more than 19 months without trial of his treason charges. Self-determination is not a crime in Nigerian law. According to the Southeast-based coalition of human rights organizations, security forces under the directive of the federal government have killed 80 members of the indigenous people of Biafra and their supporters between 30 August 2015 and 9 February 2016 in a renewed clampdown on the campaign. In a report by Amnesty International between August 2015 and August 2016, at least 150 pro-Biafran activists overall were killed by Nigerian security forces, with 60 people shot in a period of 2 days, in connection with events marking Biafran Remembrance Day. The Nigerian military killed at least 17 unarmed Biafrans in the city of Onitsha prior to a march on 30 May 2016, commemorating the 49th anniversary of Biafra's 1967 Declaration of Independence. Another group is the Biafra Nations League, formerly known as Biafra Nations Youth League, which has its operational base in Bekasi Peninsula. The group is led by Prince Chimazi Richard, alias Prince Ibuka, and Ibuta Accord taken. The group also have a chief of staff and operational commander who are both natives of the Bakassi. Biafra Nations League has also recorded series of security clampdowns, especially in Bakassi where soldiers of Operations Delta Safe apprehended the national leader, Prince in the Ek and Cameroon border area. On 9 November 2016, during an attempt to mobilize a protest in support of Kana's release, he was again re-arrested by Nigeria police force in the same area on 16 January 2018 along with 20 of their supporters. Many media outlets reported that the Biafra Nations League is linked to the southern Cameroon's separatists. Although the group confirms this, they denied involvement in violent activities in Cameroon. The deputy leader, Ibuta Accord taken, is an Ijagam native, a tribe in Nigerian, and also an insignificant number in Cameroon. Biafra Nations League, which operates more in the Gulf of Guinea, has links with the Kubo Asari, a former militant leader. About 100 members of the group were reportedly arrested in Bayelsa during a meeting with the Kubo on 18 August 2019. The Incorporated Trustees of Billy Human Rights Initiative, representing the indigenous people of Biafra, have filed a lawsuit against the federal government of Nigeria and the Attorney General of the Federation, seeking the actualization of the sovereign state of Biafra by legal means. The Federal High Court, Abuja, has fixed 25 February 2019 for hearing the suit. On 31 July 2020, the Movement for the Actualization of the Sovereign State of Biafra/Biafra Independence Movement, BIM-MASOB, joined the Unrepresented Nations and Peoples Organization, UNPO,